So a while ago, I asked my community page what video ideas they had. One person responded. Come on, guys. But the one person that did respond, thank you. I'm doing your video idea now. Hey guys, I just wanted to remind you to like and subscribe. We're almost at 500 subs, and it would really mean a lot if we got there. And if you don't like me, then you can unsub later. I see you. You're in full screen, aren't you? Watching this fucking video? Why don't you exit? Click that little button. I have a bunch of maps here to review. I'll be looking at the positives and the negatives of the map, and then I'll rate it on the 1 to 5 star system. I should also mention, I got all these maps from the official AoTTG 2 Discord server. All users will be credited by their Discord tag in the server. The first map we have up is Shiganshina V1 by AoTTG. The positives of this map definitely outweigh the negatives. This map is just so good. It's honestly one of my favorite ones to play on in my free time. The map is really big, so there's a lot going on. The way everything is scaled in the map too, it all makes sense. It feels like a real wall town from Attack on Titan. And now the negatives. It doesn't really feel like Shiganshina, although it does follow the same theme of big tower in the middle, same type of middle German house style, and obviously the bell towers. It doesn't feel like the layout of Shiganshina. If anything, it feels a little more like Trost, if that makes any sense. The map doesn't really have any Easter eggs as far as I'm concerned. The only thing there is to show is how big it is. I'll be giving this map 4 out of 5 stars. The only reason I give it 4 is because it doesn't exactly feel like Shiganshina. But like I said earlier, this is by far my favorite map to play around on, so it's definitely on the top of the list. Next up we have another Shiganshina map.
Hip hip! Boo! You stink!
And I have a lot to say about this one. I'll start with the positives before I absolutely dog on this map. Shiganshina SS3 by ALXY7253 is yet again another really big map, so we got a lot to look at. Now, because it's a big map, we can only expect a ton of issues to come up. And as somebody who used to make maps in Roblox Studio all the time, I can understand the struggle. So with that being said, let's get on to the negatives. Whenever I look around, it feels like there's not too much going on, and that just kind of feels the same for the whole map. It feels like I'm looking at a really big blank canvas. Putting things like props on the floor would be a great way to fix that issue. Another problem that I came across while playing this map is that some of the paths just feel too wide. I'll show an example of this on screen. In the show, the houses in the towns are always way more crowded. This forces the soldiers to utilize the rooftops to conserve gas and gain an upper hand in a Titan fight. And not only that, but a lot of lazy building techniques are used. Oftentimes, I find stretched textures or pieces that just aren't in place. The middle of the map is elevated, which is good from a distance, but up close it just doesn't look good. The main reason for this is because they elevated it a little too much. If it was just a little lower in the ground, it would probably be a lot better. Another thing I found is that some of the structures just straight up don't make sense. Like, that's not in Shiganshina. Also, what the hell is going on with the floor? I'm giving this one 2 out of 5 stars. I feel like it has a lot of potential, but it's just not there. Next up, we have Realistic Trost District by Blongo/Zulim. This map features a lot of different Easter eggs, like how if you go inside the tower, you can go visit Sonny and Bean in the basement. Or in another random spawn, you can visit Marco, lying dead on his bed for some reason. Hi Marco, there's also a cool pumpkin. And not to mention the army of rumbling titans that are coming towards you for some reason, and whatever that is. Is that supposed to be like Rod Bryce or something? I mean, I wouldn't see why he'd be going to Trost District. I don't know, yeah. This map doesn't have very many negatives. It's a really good map. The only thing that I could really think of that I didn't like was it kind of had the same issue as Shiganshina SS3. It's not as prominent as Shiganshina SS3, but it's still enough to be noticeable. There's only one complaint I can really make about this one, and it's that it doesn't really even feel like Trost District. The layout is not really similar at all, and the houses are just way too spread far apart. But other than that, it's a pretty good map. I'm giving this map a 3 out of 5. Even though it's not a very faithful recreation of Trost District, it's still fun to run around and look for all the Easter eggs that the developer hid inside. Next up is Expedition to Retake Wall Maria by Ice King. I always liked the idea of doing little expeditions with friends or random people online. If you can get things going, you can really have fun LARPing an expedition. This map is very impressive, and it's not just because it's very big. It feels like a whole open world rather than being confined in a little map where you just run around and kill titans. The landmarks you can find in this map are super fun too. You don't ever really see the scout regiment fight in abandoned towns in the show, so it's really cool to see that they included these. There's not too much that I really don't like about this map. It's all just really petty things or just things that need to be fixed. The first thing I can really think of is it just seems like it's in a straight line. For people who paid attention to the show, you would know that the expedition to Wall Maria was not in a straight line. Because of the attack on Trost, the Survey Corps couldn't embark from that location anymore due to the gate not functioning. So the Survey Corps had to take a longer, different route from Keleneth District. I know it's a petty argument, given the fact that they don't say what expedition they're on, but I still think it should be said. And for some reason, there's only one capture point on this map. I don't know if it's just something that they forgot to add or it's something wrong with my game, but that happened. I give this map a 4 out of 5. I really like it. It's a lot of fun just running around in the open world rather than being confined within, like, walls or trees. Next up, we have another map from ALXY. It's called Forest Custom Logic Anti-Fight, and I think it's a lot better than his other map. Right now, the game doesn't have very many bosses or enemies other than titans, so I thought it'd be cool to feature an anti-fight map. One thing I can say about this map is it's very faithful to the way it looks in the original source material. Hey look, we can even go meet our friend Petra.
Pineapple looks more like cane apple. Ow.
There's not very many positive things I can say about this map other than it just looks very nice. It's a very faithful recreation and it's just fun to wander around in. If I had to recreate the scene from the anime into this game, I'd probably choose this map. But there is one thing. It's really hard to maneuver. This is pretty ironic given the fact that Levi even says in the show, this is the perfect environment for the ODM gear. Whenever I'm flying around in this map, it always feels like I'm just running into something or I'm always out of reach. Also, there isn't really enough of the path to justify the small size of the map. You can only really fight in certain areas and oftentimes you'll run into invisible walls while trying to fly through the trees. Overall though, I'd give this map a 3 out of 5. It's a fun recreation of the original source, although it's very hard to maneuver. Last but not least, we have Lost Forest City by Edel. This map isn't based off of any areas from the series, it's just a little abandoned town with tons of titans. The map itself is just half and half of a little town and a little forest. This map is just fun to mess around in. It's nothing too serious, but I really do like how simple it is. The only negative thing I can really say about this map is that I have a skill issue and I keep running into the little trees. Honestly, I have to give it 5 out of 5. It's not my favorite map, but it's just really well made.